Chapter 3. A Friend. In a room on the second floor of the girls' wing, Mandy was not faring much better. Miss Agatha had shown her to her room, briefly explained a few of the rules, and then left the timid girl alone in the room. Mandy was in tears as she sat on the edge of her bunk, all alone, heartbroken, and very much afraid. She clutched the flour sack with her belongings in her lap and rolled back and forth, crying silently. "Why didn't they let me stay with Jed?" she thought bitterly. "He's the only one that I know here, but they took him away from me. Oh, Ma, I miss you so much." Her hand caressed the curved edge of a familiar object through the fabric of the flour sack, and her attention was finally drawn to it, the music box. Reaching inside the sack, she pulled out the precious music box, a gift from her mother. The music box was about the size and shape of a large biscuit, with an exquisite winter scene painted along the sides and a top made of mother-of-pearl. When she opened the lid, a tiny skater popped out and skated in circles across a blue mirror surface, while Beethoven's Für Elise song played softly. Mandy wound the music box and then opened the mother-of-pearl lid. The little ice skater pirouetted across the mirror. The melody of the song chimed softly, like music from heaven. The gentle tune lifted her spirits and comforted her lonely soul. Mandy did not know the name of the soothing melody played by the little box, but she had long ago decided that it had to be the most beautiful song ever written. And now, in the time that she needed it most, the music box was there to help and comfort her. She looked up to see two girls watching her from the doorway. Both were tall and thin, and she could tell that they were 3 or 4 years older than she was. When they realized that she had seen them, they put on smiles and entered the room. "My name is Elise, and this is Mary Beth," one of the girls greeted her. "Miss Agatha sent us up to help you get settled in." "My name is Mandy, and I'm not sure I like it here," Mandy replied. Unsure of herself in front of these two strangers, she dropped her eyes and watched the tiny skater. Elise moved closer. "Your music box is beautiful," she said in a quiet voice. "Let me see it." She reached for it. The girl's request was just that, a request, but she did not use the word please, and Mandy interpreted it as a demand. She felt threatened by the older girl. When Elise abruptly reached for the music box, Mandy turned away from her, snatching it out of her reach. "It's mine. It's very fragile, and I'd rather that you did not touch it." "Don't be such a sourpuss," Mary Beth scolded, dropping to her knees in front of Mandy. All she wanted to do was see it. The little skater was still turning around. The girl reached out with one finger to touch the tiny figurine. Mandy snapped the music box closed with a gentle melody, and it stopped. "Don't touch it," she snapped. "I already told you, it's very fragile." All right, we won't touch it," Elise declared, dropping to her knees beside Mary Beth. "Would you just open it up so that we can see the little dancer, or whatever she was?" The girl was attempting to ask politely, but her tone of voice betrayed a hint of impatience, and Mandy began to interpret the request again as a demand. "No," she retorted, plopping the music box into her lap and covering it with both hands. "I'd really rather that you wouldn't." Elise let out an exasperated sigh. "Oh, don't be such a baby." Mandy was angry. "Just leave me alone," she demanded. "I'm not going to show you my music box. I'm not going to show it to either of you." The emotional stress of all that she had been through suddenly overwhelmed her, and she burst into tears. Both girls laughed at her. Mary Beth seized her hands and attempted to pull them away from the music box. "Get it, Elise," she called. "We'll look at the music box whether she wants us to or not." Elise managed to grab the music box with one hand. "Leave my music box alone," Mandy shrieked, sobbing in fear and anger. "Just leave me alone." Miss Agatha entered the room at that moment. "Girls, girls," she cried, hurrying to the scene of the struggle. "What is going on?" Elise and Mary Beth immediately stood to their feet. "This little baby got angry because we asked to see her precious music box," Elise said with a sneer, and both girls giggled. "What's in your lap, Mandy?" Miss Agatha asked quietly. Mandy opened her fingers just enough to reveal a tiny bit of the treasured possession. "My music box," she replied meekly. "Ma gave it to me last year for my 9th birthday." "Let me see it." Mandy looked up in alarm. "I can't let anyone touch it." "Mandy, let me see it," the woman said firmly. The girl sat still, uncertain as to how to respond. Miss Agatha reached down, pried Mandy's fingers from around the music box, and took it from her. Straightening to her full height, she opened the lid. The cheery music began again, and the skater once again pirouetted around the mirrored surface. Miss Agatha's eyes grew wide. So this is what all the trouble was about. This is beautiful. Mandy stood to her feet and held out her hand. "Give it back, please." Miss Agatha was shocked. "What did you say?" "I want my music box back." Mandy wiped away tears with the back of her hand. "Young lady, around here children do not make demands of adults. Do you understand me? Your attitude is atrocious and... No, I'm not going to give you the music box back. And furthermore, when the girls go for lunch, you can just stay here in your room and think about how you can improve your attitude." Mandy looked up just in time to see Mary Beth and Elise trying to hide grins behind their hands. Her anger boiled over. "I don't care," she shouted. "I don't want your old lunch. I don't want your old lunch anyway. And you had better give me back my music box right now." Miss Agatha's face tightened with anger. She turned to Elise and Mary Beth. "Head back to the classroom, girls." She waited until the door closed, and then she faced Mandy. "You'll not get the music box back for a long, long time, young lady. Furthermore, you'll stay in this afternoon, all afternoon. And I think you better think about what you've just said. And if your attitude has not improved by supper time, I personally will take a hickory switch to those skinny little legs of yours." Carrying Mandy's precious music box, she turned and walked out of the door. Mandy threw herself across the bed and sobbed as if her heart would break.